Hi there, this is Natalya with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing you the It's Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Saturday, February 18, 2023, which means I will be reviewing tonight's WWE Elimination Chamber. Wow, this is the final stop before WrestleMania, and I have to say, this pay-per-view was actually a pretty good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it for the most part, but let's talk about the biggest talking point of this pay-per-view. So we're going to talk about the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship match between Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. Okay, so the crowd, they were in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, which is Sami Zayn's hometown. So the crowd was totally behind Sami Zayn. I mean, Roman Reigns came out first, and he came out to "fuck you, Roman" chants, and people were just they were signs that said, if Reigns wins tonight, we riot, or Sami loses, we riot. And Sami Zayn came out second. He came out to a huge pop, and he came out to his old NXT theme, and it was just such an incredible feeling for Sami Zayn. Now, Roman and Sami both played their roles perfectly in this. Like, if you guys paid attention, Roman Reigns blew a kiss to Sami Zayn. Let me see. Didn't even watch the show, but seen some of the results. Oh, really? What do you think of some of the results? And like Roman, I have to give it up. Like, Roman's come a long way since from his babyface days to his early heel days to now. Like, he didn't give a damn about that crowd. He was taunting the crowd. He is taunting Sami Zayn's wife. Predictable. Yeah. And he was just doing really well. And Sami Zayn had the entire crowd behind him. There were "Let's go Sami" chants. And like, I really like how like Roman was talking to Sami's wife during this. Like, he was telling her that they could have been family. I really like that sunset flip that Sami Zayn did to Roman Reigns. And there was a lot of false finishes in this match, so I was expecting that. People thought Sami was going to beat Roman, and I just laughed. Yeah, Sami Zayn was not beating Roman Reigns. So the first time the ref gets knocked out, Jimmy Uso comes out and he hits Sami Zayn with a super kick. And then he hits him with an Uso splash. When the ref gets knocked down again, Jey Uso comes out after Paul Heyman hands Roman that steel chairs, and like Roman Reigns is still trying to get Jey Uso to hit Sami with that steel chair, and he's just bullying him, kind of like the early days when Jey Uso became main event Jey Uso. And as predicted, Roman Reigns wins this after he hits Sami Zayn with the steel chair while the ref is still down, and then hits him with the spear. So overall, I actually really enjoyed the main event. Yes, it was a little predictable, but like one of my favorite spots in this match was when Sami Zayn did the he did the Superman punch, which he followed up with the Haluva kick. I thought that was really funny that he attempted to do the Superman punch. However, it's what happened afterwards that I had a little issue with, and the whole J spot. So Sami Zayn accidentally hit Jey Uso with the spear here, which allowed Roman to take advantage of that whole situation. At the end, Roman ordered Jimmy to attack Sami Zayn, and KO, guess who came back? Kevin Owens came back, and he attacked Jimmy, and he attacked Roman Reigns. He gave Roman and Jimmy a stunner. He gave Jimmy Uso a pop-up powerbomb to the table, and then it was so hilarious. Paul Heyman was like attacking KO with his fist, and he gave Paul Heyman a stunner. And Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens kind of have this moment, and like he moves out of the way and he lets Sami Zayn hit the Haluva kick on Reigns. And then they have this moment again where they're kind of looking at each other. So my one complaint about this is that this should have been a clear cut setup to WrestleMania. The heat that Roman had should have transferred over to the Usos. I mean, I feel like the ending kind of felt flat. I mean, the crowd didn't even react. You were supposed to get the crowd to turn on Jey Uso, to get the crowd to hate Jey Uso. You don't want the crowd to turn on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. And I feel like they didn't do that in this match. Yes, it kind of seems like they planted the seeds of a KO Sami Zayn reunion, but I thought Jay was going to turn on Sami. Yes, we have 6 weeks to WrestleMania. We have 6 weeks to build KO and Sami Zayn versus the Usos and Roman versus Cody. And I feel like tonight should have been. Let me see. I am sure this feud is not over. We'll end at WrestleMania or at SummerSlam. Well, like I said, this should have been clear. It should have been Jey Uso should have cost Sami Zayn the match. Could you imagine the boos? Like the crowd was cheering for Jey. They cheered for Jey when he came out. Just imagine the boos that Jey would have gotten if he cost Sami Zayn that match. Then we would have had a clear road to WrestleMania. But now it seems like they're going to use that accidental spear that Sami did to Jey to build up to the Usos versus KO and Sami. I disagree. It should have happened tonight, but it was an amazing storytelling. They did a really good storyline. And like I said, Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns both played their roles really good with this. And that is how the Elimination Chamber ended. And like I said, it was a great main event match. I felt like the finish was a little rusty though. Could have used a little bit more polishing. But with that being said, let's start this review from the beginning. So things kicked off with the Women's Elimination Chamber match. It was Liv Morgan versus Asuka versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya versus Carmella versus Nikki Cross. And Liv Morgan and Natty started this match off. It's not a surprise there as Natty is in her home country of Canada. So I feel like that's the reason why she got put in this match. Natty did send Liv Morgan into the pod. Raquel Rodriguez entered at number 3. And I really like that spot where Liv, she did a sunset flip. Oh, that was pretty cool. From the top of the pod to Raquel. And you had Nikki Cross climbing to the top of Mella's pod, and she did a crossbody, and she took everyone out. You had Carmella entering. Oh, you had Nikki Cross entering at number 4, and Carmella entering at number 5. You had Raquel eliminating Nikki Cross. And then, of course, Asuka entered last. Give me 1 second, you guys. I apologize about my dogs being. The one thing I did like was that both Natty and Asuka did a double submission to Liv Morgan. Like Natty put Liv Morgan into the sharpshooter, and Asuka put her in the Asuka lock, and Liv Morgan passed out. She did not tap out. You had Carmella eliminating Natty, and then Carmella and Asuka worked together to take down and eliminate Raquel with that double pin. And of course, Asuka ended up winning with the Asuka lock to Carmella. So overall, I thought this was a really good way to kick off tonight's show. It was a good match. The ladies delivered. Now, I'm surprised about the final 2. It came down to Asuka and Carmella. Not exactly who I pictured in the final 2. I kind of thought maybe it would be Asuka and Raquel Rodriguez. I think that would have made for a far more interesting finish. But, I mean, it seems like they wanted Asuka to make quick work of the final person. So that's why they went with Carmella. But it's no surprise. Asuka ends up winning this. And we now know it will be Asuka versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. But overall, I did like this Women's Chambers match. We get Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. This match totally sucked. I'm going to be straight up. Like, this match sucked. I did not like this match. This match was the weakest match on the card. This match was spear, F5, Bobby Lashley attempting to do a hurt lock. I honestly, like, this was a rubber match between both men, and it was a total letdown. Bobby Lashley ended up winning this by DQ because Lesnar gave him a low blow. If you guys remember on SmackDown, Bray Wyatt did call out the winner of this match. And so now we know Bobby Lashley won by DQ. So what does this mean? Is his feud with Lesnar over? Is it not over? Like, are we going to have Bobby Lashley feud with Bray Wyatt? Like, this match totally sucked. At the end, you had Brock Lesnar hit the F5 to a referee, then to Lashley again. Then you had Lesnar hit the F5 to Lashley through a table and to the ref onto the broken table. This match was just like the weakest match on the entire card. Like, you take this match out, this pay-per-view would have been so much more better. We had a mixed tag match in the form of Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Now, this mixed tag match was actually a really good match. This match sucked. Bray wants to face the person who won by DQ at Mania Week. Yeah, definitely. So, one thing I did like about this mixed tag match was that Rhea and Beth both had their moments. Like, Rhea was attempting to clotheslines on Beth, but she wouldn't budge. And then when they finally both got a clothesline, they both went down. I really like that test of strength that both women did in the middle of the ring. That superplex that Beth Phoenix did to Rhea was pretty cool. I really like this spot where Edge did the educator to Finn Balor and then Beth did the educator to Rhea. I like the double power bomb. So, like, there was a double power bomb to Rhea. Double power bomb to Edge, which was by Rhea, and then Beth did it to Balor. And everybody ended up getting knocked down. Now, Beth Phoenix doing the Grand Slam to Rhea Ripley on the floor took her out for a bit. And Edge and Beth Phoenix ended up winning after they hit the Shatter Machine to Finn Balor. CM Punk is in attendance at New Japan Battle in the Valley. Texted you the picture. Oh, thanks. I'll check it out after this is done. So it's a nice little tribute to FTR by Edge and Beth Phoenix. I actually really like that. I kind of for a brief second forgot that about the Shatter Machine. I knew it looked familiar, and then I remembered it was by FTR. So Edge and Beth Phoenix were victorious. Of course, they were in Canada. Even though they weren't in Edge's hometown of Toronto, they were still in Canada. So, of course, they weren't going to allow Edge to lose in his home country. You have the men's elimination chamber match. Seth frickin' Rollins versus Montez Ford versus Johnny Gargano versus Austin Theory versus Damian Priest versus Bronson Reed. I was blown away by this match, honestly. Like, this was such a great match. Okay, like, Johnny Gargano and Seth Rollins ended up starting this match, and there was a back and forth pins between both men. Austin Theory came in at number 3. And I really like the fact that Johnny Gargano and Seth freaking Rollins were working together throughout this whole match. I really did like that. They double teamed Austin Theory. Heard Montez Ford was MVP of the match. He was. He certainly was the MVP. I really like that. Austin Theory was trying to get Johnny Gargano to side with him. He was talking about how to remember. You guys know that they were the way in NXT. And then, like, it looked for a second like Johnny Gargano was going to side with Austin Theory, but he didn't. And then Austin Theory attempted to lock himself inside the pod, but Seth Rollins opened it up. It was so hilarious because he was taunting like Johnny Gargano from the inside, like, and then all of a sudden you see Seth in the background. He just like opened the door. That I thought that was so hilarious. Damian Priest enters at number 4, and I really like the broken arrow to Gargano that Damian Priest did. Gargano, Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory, and Seth Rollins all ended up getting taken down. Montez Ford did the rock bottom. Well, he tried to do the people's elbow. That superplex that Seth Rollins did to Damian Priest, which he followed up with the Falcon Arrow, was pretty cool. I really like that spot. Bronson Reed entered at number 5, and he did a double impact to Johnny Gargano and Seth freaking Rollins. He did a splash to them in the corner, and then he did a double Samoan drop to both of them. So Bronson Reed right off the back looking incredibly strong. I mean, this guy, like, he was just building up his resume while he was out of the WWE. If you guys, I saw some of his matches outside of WWE. He did a really good job of building up a monster. That's what you want to do. He did a flying shoulder tackle to Austin Theory. And the last but certainly not least, Montez Ford entered the chamber last. Do you think the Street Profits should break up? No, I don't think you should break up any tag team. WWE, actually, at one point, I would say WWE barely had any tag teams. Now they have a pretty good handful of tag teams, at least on the men's side. But I don't think the Street Profits should split up. It would do Dawkins more harm than good if they split. So, one thing I like about this was that Montez Ford was attempting to do the people's elbow, but Bronson Reed stopped him in his tracks with a clothesline. And, Austin Theory's got to be careful here. He temporarily picked up a Bronson Reed, but he put him down quick. Like, he's got to be careful because he could seriously injure himself. At one point, Montez Ford, he climbed to the top of the cage and he dropped himself from the roof onto everybody. That was actually a really cool spot. So, one of the things I liked was that when they eliminated Bronson Reed, they had to do, you had Montez Ford doing a super kick to Bronson Reed. That didn't work. You had Johnny Gargano doing a super kick. And then you had Seth freaking Rollins joining them. And they did a triple super kick to Bronson Reed. And then Montez Ford hit the final beat. Seth freaking Rollins with the stomp. And Johnny Gargano hit the final beat. Seth freaking Rollins with the stomp. And then Montez Ford with the frog splash. All to Bronson Reed to eliminate him. And Montez Ford was the one who eliminated Bronson Reed. At some point, Johnny Gargano and Seth freaking Rollins ended up sitting at the top of the pod. And then that's when they turn on each other. And it looked like Seth was going to do like some type of powerbomb from the top. But Gargano ended up countering it with the Hurricanrana. He Hurricanrana Rollins onto everybody, which was actually a really cool spot. Johnny Gargano doing a DDT to Theory on the outside of the ring. Damian Priest hitting a razor's edge to Johnny Gargano, allowing him to eliminate Johnny Gargano. So, is Bronson Reed still the Miz's bodyguard enforcer? Or did they already drop that? It seems like they already dropped that because we haven't seen that happen in a while. So with assistance from Seth Rollins, Montez Ford did a blockbuster from the top of the rope to Damian Priest, and Montez Ford eliminated Damian Priest. So Montez Ford with 2 eliminations under his belt, eliminating Bronson Reed and Damian Priest here. And I really like how Montez Ford was doing the whole whoa that Seth Rollins does to the crowd. Montez Ford with a rock bottom to Austin Theory. Now this is the one spot where I'm not entirely. I think this was kayfabe. So after Seth Rollins does a stomp to Montez Ford, he went face first onto the floor. This allowed Austin Theory to take advantage and eliminate Montez Ford. Security guards and the referees had to come out and assist Montez Ford out of the ring. So I don't know if he legitimately got injured or if he just got knocked out cold, that he needed assistance. But I haven't. And what do you guys think? It could have been kayfabe. So then Seth freaking Rollins attempts a pedigree to Austin Theory. Guess who comes out? Guess. Just take a gander as to who comes out. You see, Johnny and Candice are going nowhere. A WWE re-signing that should have went to AEW. Maybe. Logan Paul comes out. He hits the buckshot lariat. And then, and to add insult to injury, doing Seth Rollins stomp to him and allowing Austin Theory to do the A-Town down to Seth Rollins. Austin Theory successfully retaining his United States title here. I know some people had a problem with the finish, but when you stop to think about it, they're building to Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania. This makes perfect sense. You needed to have a reason for the match to take place. Logan Paul just cost Seth freaking Rollins a chance at the United States title. There you go. That is your build to WrestleMania. And of course, the main event was the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match between Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns, which I talked about at the beginning. So I have to say, overall, I actually really enjoyed this pay-per-view, but there were a couple things that stopped this from being a Ty Dillinger perfect 10 out of 10. Number one, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. This was arguably the weakest match on the card. This match did not belong on the card. This match, you could have just had this match on the random episode of Raw and called it a day. Especially because you had Lesnar winning by a low blow, or when you had Lesnar do a low blow to Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley ended up winning by DQ. Really? Like, no, weakest match on the card. And as far as Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn is concerned, fantastic match, incredible storytelling. Like I said, Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns both played their parts well. My issue with this, they should have called Logan Paul's buckshot lariat the Punk out. Hi, Punk. Oh my God. That's funny. My issue with this, with Roman versus Sami Zayn, is that you should have had a clear. Will there be Cena versus Austin Theory? Maybe. I heard that's what the rumors are. So you should have had a very clear setup here, and they didn't. Now it seems like they're going to prolong Jay turning on Sami. You should have had Jay turn on Sami Zayn right there and then. Because the one thing you don't want is you don't want the crowd to turn on Cody Rhodes because he is challenging Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania and not Sami Zayn. You don't want to make it a triple threat match either. And tonight was the night that you needed to have Jey Uso turn on Sami Zayn, and that did not work. The things did not play out that way. You did have Sami Zayn inadvertently hit Jey Uso with the spear, so it seems like they're gonna prolong that. But the end goal should be to have the heat that Roman Reigns has transferred to the Usos so that the crowd does not turn on Cody Rhodes. We have 6 weeks to build to Mania, and they gotta play their cards right. Otherwise, the crowd is not going to be happy that it's going to be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So overall, I would give this an 8 out of 10. That is the reason why. It's for those two reasons alone that I cannot give this a Ty Dillinger perfect 10 out of 10. If you take that match out and you would have made Jey Uso turn on Sami Zayn, this would have been a perfect 10. But because of those two things, I have to give this an 8 out of 10. What about you guys? What did you guys think of tonight's show? What was your favorite match? What would you give it out of 10? Definitely let me know in the live chats or in the comments if you're watching this in a replay. They should have had Vince come down and call for the Montreal Screwjob Part 2. Yeah, they were in Montreal. Everybody kept talking about how it was going to be a Montreal Screwjob. Do you think Sami will be at Raw? Maybe. If it's still in Montreal, maybe. But with that being said, that concludes this Elimination Chamber review. And thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I hope to see you guys live Monday after Raw. Bye.